Hey guys, this is Zanele Mbalula and I'm with Angela Linda, and we're back again with yet another episode of The Authentic Youth Show.
But before we get into it, we have created a YouTube channel, and please don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe as well. We still do have an Instagram page, and please go and follow, like, and comment on all of our videos.
And today guys, we'll be talking about youth empowerment. We'll be basically telling the youth how to empower yourself and how is the youth empowered by the government and other sources. So I think we should just get to it.
Yeah, let's not spoil it. Let's get into it.
So guys, just to start off, we're defining what youth empowerment is. It's basically encouraging the youth to take charge of their lives by using their talents, their environment basically to enhance themselves and get to where you actually want to be in.
And as you mentioned, talent. So a talent starts off with a gift that is given to each and every one of us. So as you nurture that gift that you have and you work on it, it becomes your talent. It becomes a skill. Something that you can use to your own advantage and something that can benefit you in the end.
Now let's speak about the reality of what our youth is faced with.
Right now in South Africa.
In South Africa. Let's not fantasize and just...
Yeah. So the thing with opportunities is that it's two-sided.
Yeah.
Both-sided, two-sided, whatever. So now, opportunities can be opportunities that are given to you, and then it can be opportunities when you create them for yourself. So my thing is, I think the youth of today, we are so entitled to getting things handed out to us, and we have to understand, as the moment you understand this mentality of that, opportunities are two-sided.
And the two sides of this, I think, is you have a child that grows up with parents that already made it. So now they have opportunities already. They're already exposed to an environment whereby you are expecting to get something either when you get out of school or when you are done studying.
See, getting fired up now. You're feeling this, right?
And you have a child from the townships, the locations, the rural areas, whereby they do not even have an opportunity to go study. They do not have that funding, the money to go study.
And this is where you don't use your circumstances and make excuses out of them.
Yeah.
So it's easy for the person from the rural area, it's easy for them to say, what's like, I don't have this, I don't have that, so I'm just going to sit back and not do anything with my life.
Sure.
See? But it's also easy for the person with opportunities to say, I already have everything, I don't have to work.
Not being given opportunities. Now I'm going to take it from this perspective. Is that when you grow up in a rural place, whereby you all that you can see, all that you're exposed to is people that are struggling. So you as an individual, you wanna come out of that. Now you now start neglecting what you are good at to get what can finance you, because now what you are good at is not necessarily what will actually take you out of your situation.
Right.
You see. So now we leave what we are good at.
So, for example, let's say you're good at playing soccer.
Yeah.
So now you stop playing soccer and you focus on something that will make you money.
Quick cash.
Right.
You'll now be maybe a garage attendant. I'm not saying it's bad, but then you're only doing it for that moment, just to my mom can have a piece of bread, and
right.
You see. So that is one of the disadvantages of not having opportunities. Yeah.
Right.
So you have to work
your way out of there.
Yes.
So I think that another thing with not being given opportunities is that, like I said before, you tend to want to sit back and they not do anything about your life, which is, I think, can be looked at also in both ways. You can say, I was born in an unfortunate environment and I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't want to be here for the rest of my life. So you can look at it by saying, I want to get out of here. Or you can look at it by saying, you know what, I don't have opportunities, so all I have to do is just sit back and not do anything because I'm ought to end up like this.
Sure. And just to make an example of that in that situation you get two kinds of people. Now there's a scenario now whereby a child so now you have two children raised by one father, and the father used to drink and he was a drunkard. You see. So now after 20 years they were interviewed. You see, and the other one started drinking. He became a drunkard.
Right.
And when they asked him, they said, "Why do you drink?" He said, "I was raised by a drunkard."
Okay.
And the other one, when they asked him, "Why don't you drink?" He said, "Because I was raised by a drunkard."
Sure. See?
So it's up to you what you do with your situation. You can either see that as something that will restrict you to say, I will never drink. I will never drink because my father used to drink.
Or I'll grow up to be just like my father.
You see, so it's a matter of decision. Sometimes we know it is difficult, but then it's a matter of decision. You have to take it upon yourself and say, I can see I grew up in a very unprivileged society,
Right.
but then
I want to change this.
I want to change this.
So that's the thing with opportunities. If they're not being given to you, you have to work hard for them. It won't always happen that it's at your fingertip. It won't always happen that every door is open already. Sometimes you have to go and knock on the door until someone finally opens.
Yeah.
So not everything is going to be handed out to you. If you don't have the right opportunities, it's okay. We understand it's difficult. We get it, but work towards getting yourself out of that situation.
Yes, start what they, or in every person, I believe, when we grew up from a very young age, especially in your grade 1, 2, you see those lower standards. When you are asked what do you want to be, you are so passionate about it. You would say a doctor. You see, there's still that young
You're
person.
motivated.
You are motivated. So if you can expose your mind to the right stuff. One of the reasons why our youth now, you find that the numbers of the gangsterism are now growing is because now they are so intact with that environment.
Right.
You see, there's a hot man he's known for killing and he's known as hot man. So now we all want to be hot man, and to become a hot man, you see,
Doing the wrong things.
yeah, so now we have to expose ourselves to different environments, to a conducive environment whereby you as the Authentic Youth Show, expose yourself to the Authentic Youth Show, whereby we give you information that will enhance.
Education as well.
Yes.
Information as well.
Yes.
The shins as well.
Yes. I get it.
So now we're going to go and look into having the opportunities, the right opportunities, and how you use that to your advantage and how you go about using them to benefit you.
Yeah.
Right.
And those two can also be used to your disadvantage.
Exactly.
Because now, let's start off with the disadvantage side. You have a child that his or her mother or her father are already rich. For maybe they are in business and there's already a legacy in the house. You know,
There's
in the
money
family.
as well. You know already for a Incredible Bayaka. When
so
they pass on,
you
the
take your food
business
from the
already have exactly.
Yes.
So now you sit back as well.
Yes, now you want to ignore everything. Now you say, I can do this, I have the money. My parents have the money, so I don't need to work. Why should I work?
Sure. Which is another thing that is totally a misconception.
Yeah.
Because you could lose material things, you could lose them at any moment.
At any moment.
So until you feed yourself with the skills that maybe your parents have, even if you don't go into the business that they are into or whatever, but until you educate yourself and work on enhancing your own skills, you will, I don't think it's going to work for you thinking that, my parents have everything, so I'm just going to rely on that.
Yes, because now you might find your parents have a construction company and you are more passionate about music, so you're going to rely on that, you're going to run that business into the ground.
Exactly.
So, and you end up now starting where you should have started in high school.
Right. So when you were given the opportunity that, your parents are in construction, but I'm passionate about music, you can actually go into a music school or educate yourself about the music industry at a young age, because you already have the opportunities that are given to you. You know your parents can pay the school fees. You know your parents can do things that are going to work to your
Advantage.
advantage.
The advantage side of one being having opportunities is that you can actually go to varsity and study whatever you want, because now you're not stressed about
The financial side.
the financial side of it, and you can do what you're passionate about because you got everything already. So you don't have to stress about I want to make money out of what I'm studying. You can actually enhance your skills, you see, because as we said, when we began, that what you are talented with is not necessarily what will actually give you money at the same
That will
time.
make you successful.
Yeah, so
Right.
you have to first work with it until you see.
So basically, I think what we can draw from both these scenarios of being given opportunities and not being given opportunities is that mindset is a very important factor when it comes to being successful as a young person. So the decisions that you make are going to affect, regardless of where you come from, regardless of your circumstances, whatever, your decisions are what's going to determine the outcome.
Yes, and I think we should just come into the mindset of what kind of mindset you should have, because maybe that's the question one is having there. If we're talking about mindset, what kind of mindset are you actually talking about?
Right.
You understand? I think because now there is a fact that a stat actually you see that says that it takes you 17 messages, good positive messages, to discounter one message, one negative message that you had.
Sure. And we made this example and said, if someone tells you you're ugly, you're going to have to hear you're beautiful 17 times until it has been reassured in your mind.
And I also saw it in, like, for instance, when you're writing a test or something.
Right.
When you get 70% for the test, you first go to look at the 30% that you got wrong. You see, that is where the problem. And now, what you focus on is what you become. If you focus on the negative, you will become
negative.
If you focus on the positive, you'll become
preach positive.
Positive. So that is what our mindset should be. Where your mindset is where your eyes should be.
And if you are going to focus on the negatives, focus on it in the sense of, I'm going to improve this. Exactly. So say with the test, the 30% that you got wrong, don't dwell on it like failure because of this 30%.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, how am I going to improve from this 30% that I do not know? Right, so mindset is very important.
Yeah, the mindset should actually speak to what you see. Even if you see a negative, like you come from an environment where everything is negative, your mindset should speak to your eyes. Now, I come from a negative, like the scenario that we made about the two children. My father was a drunkard, but I choose to see beyond that.
This reminds me of my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes rather. It says, faith is seeing light with your heart when all your eyes see is darkness.
Sure.
So now, whatever you're seeing, whether it's bad or not, you have hope that, you know what, in the end, this is going to have a positive outcome.
Yeah.
So that's another thing about mindset. You have to get your mindset right in order to be empowered as a young person. So moving on to our government and how it influences us as young people and how it affects all of us and the decisions that we make. Education system.
Before we get into that, I just want to say this. Wherever you are right now, you might be in a rural space or a township whereby so many negative stuff are influencing you. So what I can tell you is that you come from a poor family, but the rich family must come out of you.
Sure.
You see. So now get into the education side of it. It's very sad what we see is happening in our education system now. When I speak about the higher education, is that all the Bantu universities, which is the Venda, the Ngoye, you see, the Fort Hare, and they are in our communities. They are in Venda, where most is black people. I'm not saying Venda, there is also white people in Venda, but where our masses of our people are.
Right.
You see, where black people are, those are the universities whereby there is that is not a conducive learning environment.
It's not working for our people.
Yes, the attention is not given to those by the government, the department. They are not putting the more attention as if they are put into Wits, compared to put into Wits.
Or the other schools that we see, universities that we see.
So now we are forced, if we come from Venda, we are forced to go to Wits. Because now we also want a great education system. We have to go to Wits, and now when we get to Wits, we do not have any way to sleep.
Sure.
We are undignified. We go to Wits, you get students that come from the rural areas, all what they want to do is study, they are sleeping in toilets.
It's very painful, it's sad, and this could affect your education as well. This could affect your results that you get from your education.
Yeah.
But also in other terms of the education system, besides looking at the schools that or universities that government are giving attention to, we can look at the education system as a whole. See, the education system, I believe, it's one of the aspects of society that has not grown that much.
Sure.
We're still using the same method that was used so many years ago, which is sitting with a table in front of you and a book, and you're being taught the same things that were being taught in the past.
Our education system, it has not been developing in these years after 1994 moving forward. We see that it has not yet developed, and the industrial revolutions are now changing. Because now we are from the third, we are still in the third but moving to the fourth. But we still have problems with developing it in the third.
Right.
Being intense in the third.
Because looking at other aspects of society regarding technology or whatever, everything else is growing, it's developing and it's becoming better, except for the education system in some aspects. So looking at other schools overseas, such as technical schools, instead of here in South Africa where technical schools are really just focusing more on theory, there they're doing things practically. So let's take civil as a subject, for example. You get students in high school that are already building and being taught how to go and do it practically outside of the classroom. You get? So I think South Africa has to develop that in terms of looking at the education that you're offering and then adjusting to the subject, you know?
Yes.
In terms of kind of what's that hospitality, you go to the kitchen and whatever, you cook whatever. In civil, you go out there. Electrical engineering, you do it practically.
Yes, I think because now that is already done, it's only done in varsity and at a later stage in varsity. I think that should start in the basis.
In high school. Because if you're already equipped with such knowledge of, okay, when I plaster whatever, this is how it's done. You can already have experience when you're done with high school already. You don't have to wait for varsity or whatever.
Yes, and I think to develop a country, the education system, the curriculum that is being taught must speak to where South Africa wants to see itself.
Right.
If we want to see South Africa manufacturing, we have to it has to be taught in high school.
Because it doesn't help you wait for after.
Yes.
When the kid is done with school, now you want to teach them about something.
So that is the problem. I think that is one of the problems. They should practicalize education. It's useless now learning about the head of a locust. That is very useless right now. We are in a space now whereby more engineers are needed. We are in a space now where more manufacturers are needed. You see, more engineers are needed. So now if we are still being taught how to operate a machine theoretically, that is where the problem is.
Because you don't know how to do it.
You know it theoretically, not practically.
The problem comes when you have to go and actually do it.
Yes.
Right.
Like China now, they changed their curriculum. Now the education system of China is speaking to the aspects of where China wants to
go, where the goal, the end goal. Because like many things, education is one of the things where you have to start at a young age.
Yes. Because now you find that a Chinese child at the age of 2 can operate a tablet.
Sure.
Ours, the problem is they cannot even walk.
That's another factor. That's another factor.
Mm.
And to continue about the education system, we really have to change how it's shaped and how the education system works, and it has to work. It has to accommodate each learner individually.
Yeah.
So I can't be learning about, like you said right now, we need more engineers, we need more. If I want to be in the music industry, I can't be learning about engineering. If I want to be in the, so we have to work with the education system in such a way that it accommodates everybody.
Yes, and I think in most schools now, you only change subjects at
grade 10.
Grade 10.
How old are you then? 16?
You see. So then, and you are still doing this useless subjects. You are still doing if from grade 8, that in electrical and mechanical, they should be introduced to us.
Right.
When I get to grade 10, I know I'm doing mechanical.
Okay.
Like when I get to varsity, I'm going to apply for mechanical. In grade 10, I must choose mechanical. To know that when I get there, at least from grade 10, I'm doing the theory of mechanical. When I get to varsity, I'm doing the practicals, only practicals.
Right. So I think what you're saying is, at a certain age, you should already know what you want to do with your life. Exactly. So be it 13, 14, whatever, that is when we should start nurturing the talent or the passions that are within people.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't help I continue doing things for like 5 years of my life when I know in my heart what I want to do is not what I'm studying, what I'm learning. So the education system does have to change in order for young people to be empowered and to be able to go after their passion and use their talent to work for them. And use their talent to make a living and be educated in whatever they want to do. And
to also help South Africa
grow.
Yeah.
Very true. So yeah, and also I wanted to mention a quote by Albert Einstein. You can't judge a fish based on its ability to climb a tree. But you can take a monkey and then check, you know what, this monkey can climb this tree very well, and yeah. You can judge it based on that. But then a fish, you have to put it in water, because that's what it's good at. You can see that, okay, it's going to flourish.
So, and I think that is a problem now, because we are being, if a learner fails in school, he's being judged on that. And his passion, if you could put him, if for instance a rapper, a learner wants to become a rapper, you can put him in music school, then we will see
the person flourishing.
Yes.
Instead of believing that he's dumb for all his life because anasa pass fail, pass handle school.
And that messes up with our mentality growing up.
So I think by talking about the education system, we have already tapped into the solutions that could come up in terms of developing the young people, right? So another solution is, I think the voice of young people should be considered in society.
Yeah, really. Like, being honest now, because now we are dealing with a problem that we as young people, coming from our societies, coming from our communities, we know the problems that are that the ground we are facing. You see, and now we have a leader there, in an MP in government. He doesn't even know what's happening in Loreburg. He doesn't know what's happening in Alexandra. So we are the voice. We know exactly.
Should be heard.
Yes, what's happening in Loreburg. We know exactly what's happening in Rocklands.
Right. So the opinion of young people should be taken into consideration if we want to grow as a country and as a country as a whole. If we want to grow, we should be taking opinions of young people, and you never know where a great idea could come from.
Yeah, and we as young people, I think we have lost this art of conversation between one another. Because now I think we could be heard if there is unity. If then they see unity coming from the youth, then they can hear
that we agree on one thing and we go and raise it in front of leadership and whoever is in control of, like you said, Loreburg, Alexandra, whatever.
So, and now the problem is that when one starts with an idea, we start to criticize it. We have gained that mentality that if it's not what I like, I won't support it.
Right.
Because that's not what I thought of. I won't support it. That's one of the main problem with our youth. And now that results in like the art of conversation that we have lost. Because now we do not expose ourselves to different perspectives. We only want to hang around
one-sided.
Yes.
Right.
If I like soccer, I only want to
think about soccer.
You see?
Things that relate to soccer instead of being open-minded and taking other things into consideration. So yeah, I think from today's show we can take that if you have a talent, nurture it from a young age. The moment you realize that, you know what, I'm passionate about this certain thing, focus your time on it and put all your energy into it. In the end, it will pay off. And don't be waiting for opportunities to come knocking at your door. Sometimes you have to go out and look for opportunities by yourself.
And sometimes you have to like get out of your way. Sometimes you get to a point whereby you need sponsoring for whatever you want to start, and now that causes you to get out of your way. There's a problem with learners. Like, for instance, there's a learner who wants to go study, for instance, mechanical engineering, and they are so unfortunate that they didn't get accepted in any university. Do not be ashamed to go study at a college or somewhere. Because now what discourages us is pride.
We have a lot of pride.
And
standing in the way of our success.
Our success. So do not be scared, or do not be ashamed to start from the ground to get where you want to be. Because no talent was started from $1 billion. No company started having $1 billion already. It
starts with an idea.
It starts with an idea.
And it grows.
And it grows. And from making R100 only in a week to making $1 million a week.
Right.
So you see, you have to be involved in your idea. You have to allow yourself to go through the process of your idea, to go through the process of life.
And believe in yourself.
And believe in yourself.
That is it from us today, guys. Please don't forget, like, comment, and share the video. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Authentic Youth Show.